what you got to remember is, like, on the absolute level, right, there's no choice and it's not your responsibility. But in the relative level, yeah, live like it is, I would say, because that's how you, it's almost part of fully engaging with fulfilling engagement with life, really. I mean, I suppose it goes hand in hand with, like, examining and inquiring into your personality and what it is. And it's part of that, really. So it's like, if you've got a personality pattern and you're, I don't know, maybe you're kind of dumping stuff on people, taking responsibilities, seeing a personality sees that pattern, and then, you can go through life. Somebody could go through life doing that, but I don't think it's free. It's just part of, there's this thing of personality spreading itself to those around.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that, or you can not do that. And if you don't do that,
Mm-hmm.
you're not adding to the dream or the bullshit or the negativity
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So in fact, by waking up, you actually stop adding to the bullshit in
Yeah.
a way. And the people around you, well, some will feel it, some won't. And some will
Mm-hmm.
be annoyed by it. And so you'll get more of their shit on you. Some will feel it and won't know what the hell it is. There might, I've sometimes had that people kind of act like they want to be with you and they like you, but then you find out, oh, they don't really want to be with me. They like the idea of it. If they really were with me, they would run a mile. That can happen too. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's like, where are you coming from? What is your energetic source? What are you sharing? What are you putting out? It's like we're these little sort of transmitters, and like, what are we putting out into the world?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think it's a natural outcome of inquiry into what your personality is, and a natural outcome of being free of it is you are no longer
Mm-hmm.
drip feeding that out
Yeah.
there. You're also not giving it to yourself, as it were. That sounds weird, because some
Mm-hmm.
people say, well, I am my personality, so how can I not be giving it to myself? Well,
Mm-hmm.
that underlines the fact that we're not our personality, but
Mm-hmm.
there is this thing, this entity that you can align with, and it can actually kind of damage and hurt you by, for example, the biggest example is self-criticism, isn't it? So it's a kind of a weird thing to do, to have happen in your life. It's like metaphorically going around and kind of punching yourself in the face or punching yourself in the arm all the time. It's insane, but it's so mad that it becomes so habitual that you actually live it. People can live your life by it, and that way, and not even know. That's the insanity of this. I sometimes think it's like when people hear about life beyond personality and they think it sounds weird or mad. But as I said in the book, from this point of view, the world of personality is utterly mad. And that's an extreme example, the self-hatred thing, but it still shows up, in many, many more subtle ways as well. But yeah, it all looks utterly mad. You're not defending your personality, therefore you're not allowing it to continue. As soon as you're doing that, you're not aligning with the personality. So that's all good stuff. That's a good sign. This, I've forgotten what the line is, but Castaneda talks about this somewhere. It's like not making excuses. It's very easy to kind of get out of, somebody says something about you and it's true, but you can sort of say, oh no, that's not how it is. Or whereas if you're really inquiring into this, if somebody says something about you have to have the willingness to see if they've seen something and if it's true. And if it is, you're actually grateful to them. Or you bow down to it. It might be a bit painful, but you bow down to it. Because the only goal, as it were, is to see clearly, the capital S. It's the only goal. So if somebody gives you that, that's a gift. They see something you haven't seen. Yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I've seen it now. And then forgiveness, of course, hand in hand with not jumping back into personality with self-recrimination. Repentance is a really strong word, and it's become linked only with religion and Old Testament
Mhm.
and slavery in a way to kind of this idea of a vengeful God and all that. And I think there's a true, real meaning of repentance in human life. And it is in a
Mhm.
way to do with this subject of taking responsibility. It's like, as you get
Yeah.
more and more free of your personality, so you're unlike what some people say, which is another subject, behavior does change, right? So, and I think you can understand why. You're not acting from the patterns that you once did, therefore your behavior changes. Of
Mhm.
course it does. If it's
Yeah.
not, then you're not going beyond those patterns. You're still in the dream of personality. So behavior changes, which means that you may find yourself in a position of looking back and seeing awful things that you've done and things where you've hurt people. And
Mhm.
either you didn't realize at the time, or you looked away from it, you distracted yourself from what you were doing. So I think this subject is very interesting, because it's like, but if you take responsibility, that's like saying, yeah, I was identified with my personality and it made me not see that, or it made me not fully see the damage I was doing. And then there's a real kind of repentance, which is to do with seeing what happened fully and why it happened, because of your
Mhm.
alignment with personality. And there is a kind of healing through that repentance. It's to do with
Yeah.
confession, and this is how it happened. I did it because I wasn't aware. I'm aware now. And yeah, it's sort of bowing down to what happened and recognizing that it's not like that anymore, that you wouldn't do it like that anymore. Something around that. It's a very
Mhm.
strong thing, repentance. Yeah, whether it's to someone else or to you, it's still this coming to terms with actions in the past that were unconscious,
Mhm.
recognizing it and letting it go